Hey everybody, welcome to another podcast of the RNGcast.
With Rob and Phil.
That's right. So what are we talking about today, Mr. Rob?
Serious diseases.
Oh, I see.
That's our sponsor today.
HIV?
Sure. You're the one that went there. Tell me all about it.
Well, I know you have it. So you
No,
should
I
tell us
don't.
about
I don't. It's blossomed to more.
It's really? Okay.
This is off to a bad start.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, Phil?
Well, your idea was that we were going to talk about the games that we wanted to play or wanted to play as a kid or in our life and basically couldn't for different reasons.
Famous games that we never played.
That's right.
And this was actually an idea for a video that I was going to make way back in the day. The problem was, to do the video, I'd have to record footage of these games, which means I would have played them.
Yeah.
So it's like, this video idea doesn't work.
Kind of defeat the purpose, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I never played it until I filmed this video and played it. So, all right, so you want to start? What's a famous game that you've never played?
Well, one of the ones I never played, I don't know if you heard about it, is Bayonetta.
Bayonetta, yes, I have.
This is a pretty crazy-ass game. I've seen a bit of the manga or the anime, I guess.
Okay, I didn't know there was one.
There's like a movie and some anime.
Okay.
Pretty hot chick, kicking ass, kind of a devil, not too sure.
It's sort of like a Devil May Cry God of War clone.
Yeah, a little bit. With a chick.
Yeah, with a badass chick as the main character. No, that's actually a really good game. They recently just re-released it and the sequel for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I know they have two games like that.
They're working on the third one right now.
If I remember, there was one on the Wii. Or the Wii U.
The second one was exclusive to the Wii U. It's the only way they could get the funding for it. But yeah, the first one I think was on everything.
Yeah, so that one I always wanted to try, but never got the chance, really.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe we'll give it a go at some point.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, actually. It's full of action.
Any particular reason you never got to play it?
Pretty much couldn't find it.
Okay. No, it is. I've played a little bit of it. I haven't put much time into it, but it was fun. It reminded me a lot of like the early God of War.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, what about you?
So the first one I'll go with is one that I'm willing to bet you've played. It's an NES game.
I see.
Super Mario Bros. 2.
Really? You never played that?
Never played Super Mario Bros. 2.
Wow.
The most I have was those challenges we did in NES Remix. There were a couple of Super Mario Bros. 2 there, but I've never played Super Mario Bros. 2.
So Super Mario Bros. 2, also known as Doki Doki Panic.
Exactly.
The original title, the Japanese Famicom title.
Yeah, in Japan they have a different Super Mario Bros. 2, and they call this one the American Super Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah, the real Super Mario Bros. 2 it was supposed to be the Lost Levels.
Which you can play on the Super Nintendo.
That's right.
I actually have it, so haven't played that one either.
I've played a little bit.
But no, like, I had an NES as a kid while I was really young, but we had that game. I never played it back then. There's an NES here right now, and I have a few friends with NESs who have it. Never played it. Something about it just never appealed to me, I gotta say.
Well, it's a pretty cool game, and you can choose up to 4 characters.
It seemed all right.
They have different abilities as well, and it's different mechanic than the first one. Well,
obviously.
Super Mario Bros. 1, for sure.
No, I don't know. Something about it never really appealed to me as much as like Mario 1 or 3.
Oh, I see.
It was okay to play when we did our NES Remix, but I don't know. Just never played it.
I finished it a couple of times. It's one of the NES classics, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, it's something you should try for sure.
So what would be your next one here?
Well, I went with the PS2 one.
Okay.
It's actually, I went with a series, the Dragon Guard series.
Oh, I've never played that either.
This is kind of like RPG type adventure.
Okay.
I've heard a lot about it. I've seen my friend play, and it's supposed to be very epic series.
Okay.
And very interesting combat mechanic. I never had a chance to find the titles and actually play. Back in the days that I played PS2, I still do.
You have my PS2.
Yeah, that's right.
I gave it to him.
Yeah.
Nice guy that I am, you know?
He's boasting about it, right? So, yeah.
It just means you have no excuse. That's what I'm saying.
I see. So you're going to buy it for me, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, there was a lot of RPG going around at that time period.
Yeah.
So, you know, Final Fantasy 7, 8, Chrono Cross, etc. So my focus wasn't on those games.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I'll have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty epic.
Okay. So my next pick would be, speaking of one that you just mentioned, Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
I've never played Chrono Trigger.
Wow.
I have seen the first 3 hours in a playthrough online.
Okay.
So I know what the game's about, and it looks really awesome. Never played it, though.
It's a pretty crazy time-related RPG.
Yep.
And you go to different time periods, of course, and the storyline is very cool. It's one of those classic RPGs that, you know, you get to an enemy.
It's turn-based.
Yeah, it's turn-based.
Yeah.
The screen goes to a battle thing, and
Yeah.
you know, you fight, and you know, yeah. I have the version on my Galaxy and on my phone.
Okay.
The touch version,
The mobile version, yeah.
and it's the full game, plus all the side quests. There's so
Okay.
so much stuff in that game. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people consider it one of the best RPGs of all time. I never had a Super Nintendo as a kid. Now I do, and the game costs at least $200 just for the cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, that's gonna be one where I gotta find it at a garage sale.
Oh yeah.
No, it's one I've always wanted to play ever since I first saw a playthrough of it, because it looked really cool, and I know it's got 17 different endings or something.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to play it, but never had the chance.
It's about even after you're at the end of the game, there's 10 different side quests that you can do.
Yeah.
On average, I don't know the exact number there, but yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot of hours. The sequel Chrono Cross on PS1 was, in my view, as good.
No, cool. Most people don't seem to have liked that one as much, but
it's less old school, of course.
Yeah.
But I think in all you can, in the entire game, you can do also a new game plus.
Okay.
And there's over 50 characters you can have.
Oh, cool.
With all different abilities and different styles. So it's in my view, it's one of the PS1 RPG that you must play.
Okay, cool. So what would be your next pick?
Well, I was back in the days. I was always a fan of beat 'em ups.
Okay.
Street of Rage, and Battletoads, Battletoads, Double Dragon, and all that. And there was one on the SNES that I've heard a lot about. Maybe I've played one time, but I never really got into it and finished it and bought it. It was Final Fight.
Oh, I have heard of that game actually. I've never played it either, but
it's one of the best beat 'em up, I think, on the SNES.
okay.
Really, you got an array of different type of enemies and ways to kick their ass, pretty much.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
and also you can play 2 players, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have heard it's really good, but yeah, I've never played it either.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't play it is that I didn't have an SNES, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so my next game that I would pick would be a PS2 one that I know you really enjoy, Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, yeah. Well, you did a playthrough with
I played a bit of the PS4 remake, yes, but I never played the PS2.
I never played the PS4 remake, but I'm sure it's about the same.
It's they kept everything the same. They just updated the graphics pretty much.
Exactly.
But the thing I will say about the PS4 one is they didn't update the controls, and the controls suck ass. It is one of the worst controlling games I've ever played. Back in the day, I'm sure it was good. For the controls nowadays, no. Just no, man.
I guess you get used to it. It's one of the games I played a lot and finished a couple times. And yeah, It's pretty epic.
It is an epic game.
In the sense that you're that small little guy with your horse, and well, you know, you go and try to kill some huge monsters.
There's
about
these giant titans, basically.
About 1,000 times your size with your little sword. So,
and it's considered a really revolutionary game. Like, a lot of people list it as one of the best games of all time, or one of the worst, because a lot of people hated it. But it's considered really, like, groundbreaking. Never played it. I was offered to, like, be lent it by a friend of mine. I never took him up on it, and I had the PS3 remaster. I have it on my shelf over there. Still never played it. I don't think it's even open, the PS3 remaster. Something about it, I was like, I don't really feel like doing this one.
Well, maybe we'll do it at one point. It's one of the one I
probably
really
not
enjoyed.
after having done the PS4 one. But no, it's just one I never tried back in the day.
Okay.
And it's one I was always curious about, but I just never was like, I don't really feel like playing that one. You know?
Well, I think with the music and the epicness of the game, well, it's one of my favorite PS2 games, but yeah, it all depends on taste, right?
Yeah. So what would be your next one here?
Well, there's a game on Sega Genesis that I've seen a bit of footage and
Echo the Dolphin?
Exactly.
It is Echo the Dolphin?
It is. You're reading my mind, I guess, today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it, and it seemed interesting. I don't know if it's actually good, because I've never tried it.
I think it's the second one is considered really good and really weird. The first one I haven't heard that much about. The second one, apparently, there's aliens.
Okay.
So, apparently.
Aliens and oceans, huh?
Yeah. Somewhere you dive deep down into, like, alien bases. Apparently, it's very hard.
Yeah, I've heard it's decently hard, even the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the main titles that they were advertising at the time for the Sega Genesis. Mm-hmm. So it was always like a tease, and I never got around to renting it at the time.
Okay.
Because at the time, you know, you could rent games. Mm-hmm. Well, you still can, but it's different.
Yeah, technically you can. I don't think anybody does.
No, I don't think nobody does anymore.
No, not really, no.
Back in the days, there was a microplay, and which was like kind of with Videotron, if you're in Canada.
Blockbuster. That's the big one. Blockbuster, man.
Blockbuster, but I used to go to microplay and buy old games.
Okay.
So I could have done that, I guess, but
never did.
I had better games.
you didn't get to experience the joy of being a dolphin?
No, you know.
A lot of people like it. I mean, they made like a 3D version at one point. I remember seeing footage of it. Looked weird.
Yeah. Going from 2D to 3D can be...
rough.
It can be awesome, but it also can be a total fail. Mm-hmm. It can pretty much crash the franchise. I remember Earthworm Jim.
Sonic.
Earthworm Jim.
Or Sonic.
As well.
There's like 20 3D Sonic games. There's like 2 good ones.
But at least Sonic it continued. Earthworm Jim. There was 1, 2, and after that there was Earthworm Jim 64, and that just crashed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one would be a game that a lot of people consider iconic, but I have never played a single Metroid game.
Really?
Really. A lot of people consider the second one to be really good and the first one to be kind of whatever, but never played any of them.
Well, you see, the first one on NES was extremely cryptic.
Yeah, exactly.
The the score was actually pretty good, but yeah, the Super Metroid on SNES is fun to play. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit cryptic, but
apparently it's way better though.
Oh yeah. It's 1,000 times better, and it's really fun to play, and it's decently challenging. But the NES was cryptic, too challenging, and I don't know. Not good. I played it, but
no, it's one I've always been curious about because I used to really play Super Smash Bros. As a kid there, and Samus is in Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder what her game was like, but never played it. And the first one is one of those iconic games where at the end you're actually a chick. Yeah. Which was mind blowing at the time, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Because your hips go in 1 pixel instead of being flat.
Oh, you remember Maud?
Oh yes. Did Maud's hips go in? I don't know, man.
I don't know. She had a tongue.
I don't know. Yeah, you really like that thong, eh? That's why you play that game.
That 3-frame tongue.
But no, I never played a Metroid game. But I always wanted to play at least one of them to see what it's like.
Well, we should at one point do a Super Metroid playthrough. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure you will like it.
I probably will. It's not one where I'm staying away for a reason. It's just one where I never got to play it.
Yeah, it's worth it, I can tell you. For me, the next one, back in the days in the 90s, they were advertising a lot of, in the Bit Wars, they were advertising a lot of new system, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, name it, It was
Atari Jaguar, Sega Lynx.
Exactly. It was mostly Atari and Sega that were trying to compete with the SNES. And, of course, the CDI.
Oh, yeah.
The super...
Oh, is it a CDI game? Yeah.
No. Hell no. But it's just to tell you how many systems that they tried and failed.
Yeah.
Virtual Boy was one of my favorite, but it was the one that failed the most.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 8 games. But...
22, actually. I think it's 22 games.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I think 4 are exclusive to Japan.
Oh, okay.
But they still play. It's region free.
I think you can probably just find 8 though.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
some of them are really expensive.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But one of the one that I always wanted to play, and we're talking about Sonic here, Sonic CD on Sega CD.
Oh, in Sonic Mania, the level there where like you would do the blue balls, and they turn red, that you'd always give me the controller?
Yeah.
That's from Sonic CD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was the last good Sonic game before Sonic Mania.
Okay.
It was
was it 2D?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the last good 2D.
It was before they tried the 3D versions, what I mean? So it's one of the one I always wanted to play, and it's one of the systems I always wanted to have. But as a kid with not rich parents, I never had the system and all that.
Well, plus it's on the Sega CD, right?
Yeah.
So it's complicated to get, too, because you have to get the specific Sega CD model to work with your specific Genesis.
That's right.
Yeah. I remember reading about that, where people were returning them because they'd get ones that wouldn't work with their Genesis.
Yeah.
That's a fail.
Let's just say the Sega CD was one of more fucked up console, and also the Sega 32X.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
if you plugged it all together and they actually worked, it really looked like a mess.
Oh yeah, didn't it take like 3 or 4 different plugins for power?
Oh,
Fuck, man. Yeah. There's no excuse for that.
No. At that point, the Sega Genesis looked like it was on life support.
Okay, so the next one that I have is another one that I know you have played and that you really enjoy. I have never played any Castlevania games.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They were more famous during like the NES, Super Nintendo days, which is why I never really saw them. Most people absolutely hate the one on N64, which I know you like.
Yeah.
But even back in the day, I heard like a lot of stank around that game, so I never picked it up. But no, I never played a Castlevania game, and it's one where it looks fun. Most of them actually look pretty good. I would like to play them, but just never have. I own the best one that there is. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest.
Yeah, that's one of the cryptic ones.
Yeah, that's apparently one of the worst ones.
But yeah, Castlevania, this series has gone like really weird with it. After the SNES.
Okay.
Well, even after the N64.
Well, apparently there's some good ones on the PS1.
Well, I know it was ported on different systems.
Yeah.
But the classic ones, the first one and third one on NES, Super Castlevania, and for me, the PS1, the best one, Symphony of the Night.
Okay.
That's pretty much the good ones I would recommend.
Okay. No, I've always wanted to play them. They look really fun, and I like the art style, the graphic style. The music seems cool.
Oh, yeah.
Just never had them on PS1. Never had like a Super Nintendo. Never got to play them. Yeah,
the music is one of the main sellers of that game. It really sounds, I don't know how to say it. It's symphonic, but at the same time, it sounds like ominous and kind of evil.
Yeah.
So it's really cool when you go with Simon Belmont and with the whip and all that.
Well, Simon's Quest, man.
Yeah. Oh, the Simon Quest, it's a cryptic, crappy game, but the music was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I don't know.
The N64 version didn't have that kind of, they didn't put that kind of music, but the gameplay was fun in my view. But the PS1 version, they actually went back to the root kind of music. So yeah, that's really one of the, if you want to play a very good one, play Symphony of the Night on the PS1.
It's definitely one I'll try at some point. I mean, it's just never got to play it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, for the next one for me is one I actually discovered not too long ago, Beyond Oasis 2 on Sega Saturn.
Never played it?
No.
Didn't have a Saturn?
Oh, no. The best I got was Sega Genesis, so...
Nobody had a Saturn, so, I mean, you're not alone.
But I've seen some footage lately, and it looks like Beyond Oasis, but better version. Well, of course, it's better graphics.
Probably,
but about the same mechanic. It's the same guy.
Okay, it's still a Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that looks pretty cool. The only reason I didn't play it is Sega Saturn.
Probably will still have a tough time playing it then.
Pretty much.
I mean, it might be on like the Wii U Virtual Console. There's a chance. I don't know. I don't know if they have Saturn games on there.
I don't know. On the Wii, they didn't even have any Sega Saturn games, I think.
I don't know. I don't remember. I know they had a lot of consoles by the end, but... I didn't even know there was a sequel. Apparently, there's a Beyond Oasis Classic, which I don't know what that is.
No idea.
When I upload the videos, you choose what game it is, and there's Beyond Oasis and Beyond Oasis Classic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I guess that's another game.
That's weird.
No, yeah, I can see why you wouldn't have played it, because, I mean, who the fuck had a Saturn?
Yeah, exactly. And the first one is, well, you've played a bunch already.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, you know?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. So my next game would be a GameCube game that a lot of people like, although not a lot of people love, and it would be Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Never played that one.
Yeah, I've played that one a little bit. It's pretty decent.
A lot of people say it's boring in comparison to the other ones. So apparently that's why.
It's a little less action based on, but it's one of those Zelda games that they went a different way, but it's got its appeal, you know.
Well, it was that one was actually designed for North America.
I see.
For North American audiences, because Wind Waker absolutely flopped when it first came out. Because, and this was why I didn't want a GameCube when I saw Wind Waker, because it looked like a game for little kids. The art style made it look like a game for like babies. So I'm like, well, fuck that. I don't want that. I want like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And so it sold like ass in North America. And they're like, okay, we got to make an adult themed Zelda game. And they tried to market it for the American audience. Some people like it, but most people seem to agree it's not one of the best Zelda games. Never played it. I have the HD remaster. And I might actually have the GameCube version now. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But still, to this day, never played it.
Oh, I see.
It's one I'll have to try at some point. The like your sidekick character is very iconic.
Yeah.
Midna. It's like the Navi of the GameCube.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, even Wind Waker, I've played a bunch.
Wind Waker, I love.
It was really fun. It was in my view, it was revolutionary.
Wind Waker is, well, the HD remaster. They fixed a few of like the things in the GameCube version that weren't that great.
Yeah.
The HD remaster would still be my favorite Zelda ever.
I see.
Even having played like Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, the HD version is probably my favorite.
Oh, awesome.
It's really good. They fixed all the like parts that people didn't like, so it's like it's just all a good game now. It's rare they get that chance, so.
Yeah, that is true.
So what would be your next one there? Wind Waker?
No. It's another SNES game. I've played a lot of Double Dragon on the NES.
Okay.
And I know they came up with Super Double Dragon.
I've heard of it.
One or two. I don't know if there was a sequel or not.
Okay.
But it's one of those beat 'em up games that I really enjoyed as a kid on NES. 2 players is even more fun.
Okay.
I mean, I've played Battletoad versus Double Dragon, which is one of the best beat 'em up on Sega Genesis and SNES.
Okay.
But I've never had a chance to play the sequel to my the trilogy of Double Dragon on NES.
Oh, that's too bad.
So yeah, maybe one day I will get that chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not that expensive to buy the game, so.
Probably not.
And it might even, well, you can't get it on your Wii anymore, but it might have even been on the Wii Virtual Console.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. That's too bad they shut down the Wii shop.
Yeah, I agree. So what would be your next one?
My next one would be an NES one that, it's another one that I've always wanted to play, and I love the music from, DuckTales.
Oh, DuckTales, yeah.
Never played it. And there is a sequel, apparently, which is very expensive as well. Never played that one either.
I never played the sequel, but I used to own the first DuckTales. Really fun game. One of the concepts was ported for Shovel Knight, actually.
Well, yeah, that's where they drew inspiration from, was he can bounce on his cane, Scrooge, and that's where the idea for the bounce on your shovel mechanic came from.
Yeah, and most of the songs in there was pretty awesome. The Moon
song, obviously.
The Moon song is one of the most famous there. Really elaborated song. We talked about it in one of the
we talked about it in another one.
podcasts.
Well, you got to plug our old stuff, man.
That's right.
And there's actually a DuckTales remastered, which is like, it's the exact same game, but it's like hand-drawn animation now. And I have it on Wii U. It's one that we'll probably play at some point because it's a very quick game. Still haven't played it though. And it's always looked really cool. And since I like Shovel Knight so much, I'm curious on seeing like where they got their ideas from.
Yeah.
Haven't played it.
It's a must-try retro one, that's for sure.
It's a rare one too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what would be your next one?
Well, I've never owned a Neo Geo console.
Oh, geez, no.
And
Well, you need a lot of money for that.
yeah, first of all, there's that. And even back in the days, it wasn't that popular. But there was a game called there's a game series called Metal Slug.
Ah, I know Metal Slug.
And if you ever played Contra or Super C on NES, it's the same kind of concept. Pretty much kill everything with your gun.
Yeah.
Get upgrades, blah, blah, blah. But on Neo Geo version was like a complete upgrade from the NES one.
Oh, okay.
So from the footage I've seen, it looks pretty interesting.
Okay. Well, it wouldn't surprise me that you never played it, Neo Geo.
Yeah.
Although they are coming out with a Neo Geo arcade box, basically.
That's good.
They just recently did it. It's going to be like a couple $100, but it's got like 300 games on it.
Yeah.
So it probably has that one.
They're doing that with almost every classic
they're doing it
retro
with a lot,
console, you know?
Well, they released the Sega Genesis Classic as well.
Yeah, they got the SNES Classic, the NES Classic.
Yeah. Probably N64 at some point.
Oh yeah, they're gonna redo them all, and in a way, it's one way for them to renew their copyrights on the games.
Well, yeah, I think it's cool when they do release those, as long as they're high quality, like the NES Classic or the Super Nintendo, because it's a lot of people wouldn't have gotten to try a lot of these games, and it's like a lot of people don't have the setup that I have, where you can get these cartridges and still would want to play them, you know. So it's cool that like somebody who's never played Earthbound can buy the Super Nintendo Classic for $80 and play Earthbound.
Yeah.
Instead of buying like a Super Nintendo for like 120, controller, Earthbound for like 300, you know? It is cool.
When you're at that point, it's really that you want to have the full retro experience.
Yeah. Well, also they're good collector's pieces. They're worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
they keep going up.
That's true.
And I mean, having played a lot of emulators like the SNES Classic or just on PC or whatever, it does control and play better and is not as glitchy, obviously, on the original hardware, but it's still nice when they release this to like the general public so that anybody can play it, you know?
Yeah, it shows a new generation, you know, what games were.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I tried to do when I do my retro ones.
Okay.
Obviously, it will help.
So yeah, what would be your next one?
I just talked about Metal Slug.
Oh, okay.
But
the next one.
I can do another one if you want.
No. Well, my next one would be we were talking about Shovel Knight earlier. The main game series that Shovel Knight drew inspiration from, I have never played a Mega Man game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Neither the NES or the Super Nintendo ones.
Or the PS1.
Do they have ones on PS1?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I had...
Mega Man X series.
Well, wasn't that on... They had Mega Man X on Super Nintendo.
And on PS1.
Okay. Well, I never had the NES ones. It was just games that we didn't have.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Super Nintendo as a kid either. And I never knew about them on the PS1, I guess. But a lot of people really, really love the Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one of those games where I have seen some footage, I've seen playthroughs, never played any of them.
Huh.
And they look really good. And like I said, it's where Shovel Knight drew most of their inspiration from.
Yeah.
So I would love to play them.
Yeah, the first time I've played a Mega Man game was probably Mega Man 2 on NES.
Okay.
And I played a couple of the Game Boy versions.
Okay.
But yeah, the music is pretty cool for the NES version anyways. Mm-hmm. Mega Man X, I didn't play that much, but I'm sure they're pretty decent.
Yeah, there's one of them on Super Nintendo that people consider to be like the best Mega Man game ever. So I'm not sure which one. Like I said, never played it, but yeah, it's one I definitely would want to.
Okay, cool. That sounds good to me.
What would be your next one there?
Well, personally, I've never had a chance to play the Kirby series games.
Which ones? Any?
Really? Yeah.
Okay.
I never played Kirby 64 or Kirby on the NES or SNES, but it's one of those platformers that you gotta try. At one point, it's one of the major characters for Nintendo. You know? I mean, they're in Super Smash Brothers as well. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, the concept of, in a way, assimilating your...
getting powers from your enemies.
Yeah, assimilating the enemies by eating them and just getting their powers. And
although the NES version, at least the first game, you didn't actually get their powers.
I see.
Yeah, they hadn't put that in yet. No, that's interesting. Yeah, the Kirby games, most of them are pretty fun. They're all very unique. Yeah. The N64 one was like a decent side-scroller on the N64. They are generally a bit easy, I will say, Kirby games. They're not hard.
No, they were probably more made for kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cute character, so they're a little bit more geared towards a younger audience. But they are always fun to play. Like, I can't think of a bad Kirby game. And at one point, we probably will play Kirby's Dream Course on the Super Nintendo.
Sure.
Which is one of the most unique golf games you'll ever play.
Okay.
Kirby is the golf ball. And he gets powers and can attack shit, and it's really weird.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, they do a lot of weird shit with Kirby. I guess just because they can kind of do whatever they want with him. He just can kind of do everything.
Hey, he's a Pokemon.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty much.
There was also a Game Boy Advance game called Kirby Pinball or something, where he's the pinball, but like you have to tilt your Game Boy Advance and it moves Kirby by tilting. It's one of the only Game Boy Advance games to do that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. It's definitely worth trying. They're not very hard, the games. So they're not really going in for a challenge,
Quick playthrough.
Pretty much, yeah. Although the games are very unique.
For sure.
So the next one that I'll play, which is one that most people who owned a GameCube would be like, what the fuck, man? Why haven't you played this? It's considered one of the greatest racing games of all time and has not had a sequel since the GameCube, F-Zero GX.
No, never played that.
Did you ever play any of the F-Zero games?
No, I've seen footage of the SNES one.
Yeah, I have the Super Nintendo one. It's interesting. It's not like a game I love, but I recently got the one on the GameCube, and this is a game where everybody loves it, basically.
Okay.
It's like, did you play Pod Racer on the N64?
Yeah.
It's similar to that, where it's not about power-ups. It's just all about skill. And you're just going at like crazy speeds on like crazy tracks. Like think of like the craziest Mario Kart tracks, and those are like nothing compared to F-Zero. Yeah,
well, if you really want something like that, you should try Wipeout.
It's crazier than Wipeout. I've played Wipeout.
You played Wipeout XL?
I don't know if it was XL. It was on the Xbox 360, the one I played.
Oh boy. Yeah, Wipeout XL was on PS1 and N64.
Oh, it was a later one that I played.
And it was a pretty crazy one. They recently got out with the Wipeout Omega Collection.
Okay.
On any port, I think. And it's really cool. It's like extremely fast.
It's probably pretty similar to F-Zero. And they did an F-Zero game on every console up to the GameCube, but then they stopped making them because they didn't feel like they had anything to add to the series. And now whenever Nintendo is like asking what games would you like to see or doing new releases, whenever you look in the comments, everyone's like F-Zero, F-Zero, F-Zero. Still hasn't happened, man. It's been like 10 years, no F-Zero.
No more.
It's one I'm definitely going to play, and it always looked cool as shit. And it's one where they prioritized having a high frame rate, 60 FPS, instead of higher graphics, just because it was all about the speed.
Yeah.
So definitely one we'll play at some point, but never have.
Never had either, so it'll be totally new for both of us.
So what would be your next one here?
Well, my last pick is a weird game that I've never played before, of course, and it's what I think it was on a couple of different consoles, but for me it's a Sega Genesis one. It's called Zombie Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I think that's on Super Nintendo too.
Yeah, probably. A lot of the game at that period of time were on both systems.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always been like a zombie, a Romero zombie kind of fan.
Okay.
And I don't know, that game seems retro and zombies, so for me it's appealing. I just never had a chance to find the cartridge.
No, it'd probably be one we could do a one-off of at some point of. I don't think I'd do a full playthrough.
No.
I've seen some playthroughs, and it's like you play it for 10 minutes and you kind of get it. But no, it is an interesting one. Another one, actually, that I remember you said that you've never played, which is a zombie game, is Dead Rising.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the first one, that's it.
Yeah, that's another really good one in that same kind of style.
But, you know, these kind of games, there's so many different, like, Dead Rising, what was the other one?
Zombie U?
Dead Island, Zombie U.
Dead or Alive.
For sure. Zombie Kasumi. But, it's like, at one point, when it started to get into the zombie games, they went like haywire, like any system.
They realized that a lot of people like zombies and that they could make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, some are good, some are fails. I mean, it's hard to. How can I say? It's hard to see like which one are crappy, which one.
Are good. Without having
you gotta try them.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay.
But it's always fun to bash a bunch of zombies with different kind of weapons.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you make a good zombie game.
That's right.
So my final pick, which would probably be the most controversial pick on this list that I've never played, Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
1 or 2. I had a friend who played the first one when I was younger, and I did not like it. The first one, which is why I never bought them or played them. And a lot of people consider it to be like their favorite Mario game of all time. I just really didn't like it. It feels so thin. Like, it's like there's almost nothing to do in every world. There's only like 2 stars in every world.
Yeah.
And it's like they have you fly around, but you never actually can take control and fly. It's always like just shooting you from place to place. So I don't know, just something about it never really appealed to me. And I know a lot of people love this game, and there have been a lot of people talking about it recently, which is what made me think of it. But I never really liked the game. They tried to go both open world and course clear, and it didn't reach a level that worked for me.
If you ask me, it's an attempt to relive the Super Mario 64 game.
Well, no, they kind of did their own thing, like the gravity mechanic.
No,
like that is cool.
It's an upgrade, but it's basically trying to get that feeling again, pretty much.
Okay.
Without doing that, and I mean, personally, I wasn't a huge fan.
No.
I love Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome game, and the sequel on Wii U I never played, but it's that's always a sure thing, you know.
Yeah, a Mario game usually, yeah.
But it's not one I would recommend. But it's Mario.
Well, that's it though. Like, so many people consider it to be like one of their favorite Mario games of all time. And I'm just like, I don't really feel it. Like, I like Mario 64. Sunshine was okay. I love Mario Odyssey, but Galaxy is just kind of Not really my thing. So yeah, guys, I guess that pretty much wraps up the podcast. You can rage at us down in the comments below.
Yeah, no problem. Trolls come at us.
No, I'd be curious to know, what famous games have you guys always wanted to play but never gotten the chance?
That's right.
And yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Is that what we say?
You'll hear us in the next one.
You'll hear us in another one.